Hey friends, good evening. It's Joe Pal SVH coming at you with another daily nugget for March the 29th. And hopefully you guys can hear me today. I had an issue a couple days ago, but it looks like my mic is unmuted and everything seems to be working. So hopefully you guys can hear this. I'm going to go right to the bowl of sake today. The bowl of sake the last couple of days has just been all kind of like a continuous thread of a similar message. And this one is a little bit of a diversion from yesterday and the day before, but it's all in the same zone. So I thought this might be a good one for today. It's short and sweet, but there's definitely a lot of little wisdom in this little nugget. So today's daily nugget coming to us from the bowl of sake by Hazrat Nugget Khan for March the 29th. According to his evolution, man knows truth. According to his evolution, man knows truth. So, this one is really simple, and it's really, it kind of makes sense. The more evolved you are, the more that you understand what truth is. But what is evolution? When we think of evolution, we think of it in terms of, the Big Bang Theory and how things evolved from, particles and things of that nature. Or we think about creative force that created us, our creator that created us, and how we've evolved from that point. But I think what this really alludes to is the evolution of the human spirit, which is an unfolding of a reality of truth, right? Because the more evolved you are, the more your understanding is clear. The more understanding you have, the more your sense of knowing is fine-tuned, right? So when Marh says, according to his evolution, man knows the truth, I think this is really about how you've evolved in spirit, how you've evolved as a soul moving through this plane of existence. And it does have a lot to do with evolving in our nature, in our being, in our personality, and so forth. But I really think that this is alluding to an unfoldment, an unfurling. So when you look at, I mentioned before, that the seed carries the essence of the plant, and you don't see it when you first see the seed, right? You just see the seed, and you just throw it in the dirt, and you kind of forget about it for a while. And water it a little bit and hope someday you get something out of it. But the more that you water that plant, and the more you water that seed, and the more that you nurture it, and the more that you give it light, and the more that you feed it what it needs to grow, the more it unfurls and it opens. And first, that's that unfurling of the seed, the opening, and the sprout coming out, and then the sprout coming up through the ground, penetrating the earth, and coming out and reaching out into the air, and then reaching up towards the sun and growing and evolving. And as it grows, it opens up more. And as it opens and unfurls more, then you get a bud or a flower, and the flower turns into a bud or a fruit or something of that nature. And so, it's this evolving of the capacity to open is what I really see here in this particular phrase, and that's really what the last couple of bowls of sake have alluded to, is having this opening, creating this space within us where we can open ourselves to something greater, and something bigger than ourselves can evolve and grow up through us. If that space of the heart is all filled with ideas and concepts and beliefs and ideologies, then it's hard for us to have space to accommodate that which might grow through it, or grow up in it. So again, it's this. There's an ever expanding aspect to spiritual life, to spiritual growth, to personal growth, and to who we are and to what we become as beings. It's all something that has to unfold in its own time, and that unfolding and that unfurling, that opening, is really what I feel that this alludes to. So we think of evolution again as an evolving, something that continues to grow and to change. But I think this is really alluding to this opening, and this real opening and unfurling, this unraveling of different layers, if you will, that really becomes the evolution of the human spirit. And that's what really draws us closer to the perfection of the divine, is when we open ourselves, we peel off that veil, right? We lift that veil and there's a little bit more of a clearer picture. We lift another veil and there's a much clearer picture. Lift another veil and now we're looking at it with our own eyes and we're seeing things as the reality of our own eyes with the veils lifted. And it's the same thing, when I talk about the opening of the heart is, a clearing of that chamber. It's wiping away all the old impressions, sweeping away all of the old thought patterns, sweeping away all of the old hurts and pains that are stuck there, those types of things. And we, in the Sufi tradition, we talk about polishing the mirror of the heart. So we look at the heart as a mirror and we talk about polishing that mirror. And because dust gets on it, the clarity of the vision of what you see isn't always that clear. So you have to continually polish that mirror. And I think I don't know if it's Shams or if it's Shams Tabriz or if it was Rumi, one or the other, made the statement that, how will your mirror ever be polished if you're irritated by every little rub? And I think that's that's a Bolasaki or a daily nugget in itself. But that whole concept of wiping away old impressions is hard. It's hard to clear ourselves of something that we filled ourselves up with, right? Because we've taken all this time to fill ourselves with knowledge or ideas, or, we were taught something and we might revere those people that we were taught something by, whether we believe it or not, or whether we've come to a different understanding in life later. It's still hard to take away those impressions and those formalities that have been put into our heart. So it takes a lot of work. And so I think that's what that particular phrase was alluding to. But yeah, just a couple thoughts that I had about the daily nugget today, the bowl of sake from March 29th. According to his evolution, man knows truth. So yeah, folks, keep yourselves open, keep yourselves alight with the light of divine knowledge and truth. And the more that you unfold and unfurl and open yourselves to knowledge and open yourselves to truth, the more that it becomes part of your life. So I think this opening of yourself to truth is really allowing yourselves to evolve in truth and to become truth. So that's your daily nugget for today. I encourage everybody to go ahead and like and subscribe. If you're watching this on Facebook, go over to youtube.com/thesbh and hit the like and subscribe button. Hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I do one of these videos. And I sure do appreciate all the support. Appreciate you guys checking this out every day. And I hope the nugget speaks to you each day. And I sure do appreciate everybody checking it out. So that's your daily nugget for today. We'll be back at you again tomorrow. All right. Have a good night. Be blessed.